Damien, episode 8, Here is Wisdom. Now, coming back to this show after a couple of weeks off, kind of, missing it and trying to catch up on reviews, I was curious where things were going to go for this one, and it got really, really insane. I was not expecting a lot of the stuff that happened in this episode. We have Shay, who just can't die. Like, this guy will not die. Like, no magical evil force can stop this guy. Like, he will find a way to survive. Torch this car, he makes it out. He freaks out when he sees his son drawing the pictures and stuff, and he's talking with his husband, and it's like, things are just too weird for him. And so, all this stuff is going on with his character, and it's just like, man, he just can't catch a break. Always surviving at the last minute. The ending, which just kind of blew my mind. I was very surprised by that ending. But everything that happened in this episode, I thought was actually pretty cool. We have Anne Rutledge trying to destroy one of the blades, the one that she had with Damien in the last episode. That unfortunately doesn't work. I thought that was going to be our death because the guy kept trying to do it. And I'm like, oh, he's dead because things are rumbling and stuff and the fire's not going and it's like, moving sideways and stuff. I'm like, oh, he's toast. I thought it was going to like just revert back and like blow him up or something crazy. And that would kind of be our death of the episode. But he actually makes it. He survives and they can't destroy the blade. We have both Simone and Amani who find out that the woman that Amani is sleeping with is actually Anne Rutledge's daughter, and they both kind of get involved with the nun and kind of her mission. I believe her name is Veronica. That's what's on the info. But I don't know. It was just pretty crazy. Like, just how all that stuff played out was pretty nuts. Like, it got really advanced really, really fast. Like, Amani found out the truth. It's like, okay, he found out what was going on there, so that's obviously a really big deal. And then Anne sends her after the nun. It's like, okay, this woman's trying to, basically kill off Damien and stop him from becoming evil. So, I need to kind of fix that. You go, kill her. And it turns on her daughter. So they actually killed off her daughter in this episode, which really surprised me. I thought she'd have a much longer role in the series, but that really surprised me. And it's like, okay, she's been shot, she's been killed. Excuse me. So that's obviously going to have a huge effect on Anne herself. It's like, my daughter's been killed, and I know exactly who I sent her to kill. I know exactly who to go after. And I don't know how they're going to play that. I don't know if they're going to, if Simone and this woman are going to go to the cops and say, like, she tried to attack me, and it was self-defense, and that's how she was shot and, killed. Or if they're going to try to cover it up because they know it's Anne Rutledge, who's insanely powerful and stuff like that. So I don't know exactly what to expect from that. Like, they have one of two options, but I think going to the cops would be super dangerous. But at the same time, it's not as dangerous because we know that Shay is actually one of the good guys, and the cops seemingly aren't influenced in any way at this point to kind of support or even go against Damien. Really, they're really just neutral cops. But they wouldn't know that, and you would assume with Anne Rutledge she'd have a lot of influence and sway out with the cops and a lot of other organizations. So it might be too risky. And they might try to do the whole cover-up thing, and we'll have to wait and see. Or, well, I'll have to catch up and see, I guess is more accurate. But I don't know. I mean, I thought that was a great way to do it. I was very surprised that they killed her character off. And then we have, the guy who was, like, basically in love with Damien. We find out that I still couldn't tell. Like, when I was watching the episode, like, everything he said, I was like, I'm still not 100% sure if he's just crazy or if this is like the demonic power stuff. I'm pretty sure it was the demonic power stuff, but I think there was still a part of it was just that guy. Like, he was actually involved with that stuff, and he kind of goes nuts, and he's like, I got rid of the other people too, and nobody even knows that they're missing. And we finally got that scene that I was kind of waiting for. Is that big promo shot that they've had since, before the series even premiered, with Damien just losing his mind, ready to kill his guy. And he actually does it. I thought for sure he was legitimately going to kill him in this episode. But, he loses his mind, and he's just, like, beating on him and stuff. And he's not, like, speaking or anything. It was like he kind of just lost it. And, he shuts the door, and he's just wailing on this guy. But he ends up letting him go. He lets him live, and he calls the cops. And so Shay ends up going there, which I thought was still really bad. I was like, there's no way it's just Shay by himself. And he gets out, and he's alone. I'm like, that is insane to me that he went out there by himself. Like, that just seemed like a bad idea to me. But nothing happens to him. They pick up the guy. He, of course, doesn't say it's Damien. Just says it was the devil that did this. And he's just laughing like a maniac. And Damien goes to talk to his psychiatrist, or his therapist. And he's, freaking out and stuff. He's like, I want to kill this guy, and he says his name and everything. And I'm like, okay, patient, doctor-patient confidentiality, that still applies. So I'm like, all right, nothing's gonna happen. He didn't actually kill the guy, and it was just him going through his stuff and talking about how he felt so angry. It's like, taking out this one person and wiping that evil from the world, isn't that worth it? And she's like, is that really your call? And stuff like that. And he's like, no, it's not. And I thought that was a really good point, and I thought it was pretty cool. It's like, he's fighting the darkness within him, which I said early on, like, I don't want him to. I want him to just go full evil. But at this point, it's starting to get even better with him fighting against it, because we've really seen him lose control at this point. This is the first time that he's truly lost control himself. But it was really good. I enjoyed that. When he first talks to her, I thought it was pretty interesting when he's talking about, like, the PTSD. And he's like, I went around as a photographer. I took pictures and stuff like that, and to me, it feels like I'm whining. I thought that was actually a really great line, whereas like he, kind of has PTSD, but it's like, I took pictures of stuff. Like I took pictures of people being killed and people being arrested and treated horribly, and I feel like I'm just whining right now. I was like, that's actually a really cool line. Like he actually went through all that stuff. Like they had the episode where he talked to the guy who's dealing with it in the hospital, and it's like, I know what it's like to have those feelings where you've seen stuff, but he's like, I didn't actually fight in the war, I just filmed it, and I feel like I'm whining. I thought that was a really cool, like, just a little moment in the episode, but ultimately, I love this one. I thought it had a lot of great surprises. The stuff with Shay I thought was pretty cool, and he's still kind of pushing against Damien, and his boss is like, oh, how about that? Another person Damien didn't kill. So, he's connected, but, still another person that he didn't actually get involved with. And it was just interesting. Like, he's going through the whole thing. And it comes down to, this psychiatrist goes to see the guy. And I was like, okay, that's normal. It's like, here's a guy I can probably help and figure out how helping him might help Damien or vice versa. Something like that. So I was like, alright, that's fairly normal. It makes sense that she knows who the guy is. He's been arrested. I can go help this guy because I have a personal connection to Damien. I know certain things and I can say certain stuff to try to figure out exactly where this guy's mind is. And I was like, alright, makes sense that she'd go there. And then it started to get a little crazy. She's writing stuff down. I'm like, alright. And then she's like, Damien said you're horrible and stuff, and she's clicking the pen. I'm like, oh, it's about to get insane. And Shay's running. They do the slow motion. He's trying to get past people and stuff. And she gets up, and the guy's like calling for guards and everything. And she just stabs the crap out of him like he stabbed the guy in the last episode. And I was like, once again, 2 episodes in a row, very surprising ending scene death. And it was just like, she's just stabbing the crap out of him in the neck. And, she's kind of mentally torturing him like, Damien didn't want you. He said you're pathetic and you're sick and you're weak and all this crazy stuff. And then she just murders him, and there's just blood all over the table. Shay comes in. He just lights her up. I thought he was going to shoot her once. He just, like, I don't know why there were only 4 bullets in his clip, but he shot her, like, 4 times, and then the gun, like, ran out. But he shot the crap out of her. I was like, oh, he's going to do the one shot, because she shot her straight in the heart, and I was like, okay, she's down. And he was just like, boom, 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 and he just kept going. I'm like, all right, that's a little bit over the top, but ultimately, it's still just a crazy ending. But I love the episode. I was very surprised by that ending. It shows that even Damien's psychiatrist is under this crazy influence. I don't know if she's just under the influence now or it's always been that way. And it's one of those things, just like with the guy. I was like, was he always just under his influence, or was it part him, part crazy? And it's like with her, I would assume that was full on influence. But with him, it seemed like that was it was like partially him, but most of it I think was like the devil stuff. I don't know, I think most of it might have been him, but there was still that actual influence of kind of the crazy kind of devil stuff, like the weird power possessing him and crazy stuff like that. But love the episode. It was definitely pretty intense. We got Simone and Amani getting a lot of answers and, helping the nun and stuff like that. And he thought at the end that the nun might have been a part of all the craziness. But, they're working with her, and now Simone and the nun have killed Anne Rutledge's daughter. Who knows what chaos that's going to bring on both of them, or at least the nun, because I don't, Anne didn't really know anything about Simone or anything like that, but at least the nun is going to have a target on her back, a bigger target, I would assume now, on her back. We didn't see Lyons at all in this episode, so we might get a glimpse of him in the next one, but I certainly enjoyed this one. I thought it was a pretty fun episode. Definitely, once again, a really crazy ending. Damien having, kind of that that first real burst of just pure demonic rage, really. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty fun episode. Of course, I want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And despite everything that's happened, I think the big thing that took place in this episode that'll lead to a kind of dramatic shift for the rest of the season really is Anne Rutledge losing her daughter. So I would love to know where you guys think that's gonna lead this story. Like her losing her daughter, who she somewhat seemed close to, but not really. Like she was obviously using her, like, go mess with Amani and kind of get close to him, and break into the apartment to fix it up because Damien tried to kill himself. All this stuff. It's still her daughter. Like there's gonna be an important connection there, and she trusted her daughter obviously to like pull off an assassination basically. So her losing her daughter, I think, is gonna have a pretty big effect on the nun and Simone and possibly Amani now that he's at least somewhat involved in that. So I want to know your expectations for how that'll play out. I think they might kill off the nun, but I think Simone and Amani are still going to be, perfectly fine. And Simone might, really take charge and pick up where the nun left off if she does actually end up getting killed off. But like I said, I want to know your expectations and, of course, what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.